And my scripture today is from 1 John chapter 4, verses 7 through 13. My beloved, let us love one another, for love is from God. And everyone who loves is born of God and knows God. And he who does not love does not know God, for God is love. By this was the love of God toward us made known. For God sent his only begotten Son into the world that we might live through him. Herein is love, not that we loved God, but that God loved us. My beloved, if God so loved us, we ought to also love one another. No man has seen God at any time. If we love one another, God abides in us, and his love is perfected in us. Hereby we know that we abide in him, and he is in us, because he has given us of his Spirit. Thus ends the reading of our scripture, 1 John chapter 4, verses 7 through 13. Happy Valentine's Day. Love is all around us, and love is within us. The title and the theme of my sermon today is We Are Love. First and foremost, love is who and what we are. In the first book and the first chapter of the Bible, it says that we are created in the image and likeness of God. And what is God? God is love. Since we are created in the image and likeness of God, that means that we too are love. Divine love expressing through this physical body. When we strip away everything from our physical identity, all that remains is the spirit of divine love. Somewhere along the way, we may have lost sight of who we are. In romance novels, the plot focuses on finding that someone who will love us. The plot of the Bible and our path of self-realization leads us to discover love is within us and to embrace and share this love. Learning to love ourselves is the foundation from which we build everything. How can we give love if we don't know what love is? To give love, we should first find the true love that is within us, and be love. For those who were here last Sunday or listened to the sermon, Reverend Jackson spoke about the greatest injustices are the injustices that we do to ourselves. And I'm going to expand upon this. And I'm going to say that when we do not acknowledge and embrace that the greatest love is the love of God and the love that resides within us, that is a great injustice that we do to ourselves. Now, there are a few things we can do to help us realize this love within us. One way is learning to forgive ourselves. What does it say in 1 Corinthians? Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is forgiving. Sometimes we are harder on ourselves than what we are on other people. Well, for me, I can say that's most of the time. We carry around the should haves and could haves, and we wear them like they're a badge of honor. Why did I say that? Why didn't I do this? A situation will play over and over and over again in our head until we become exhausted. Sometimes we're our own worst critic. So it is important that we learn to forgive ourselves, that we learn to forgive ourselves and let it go, and to tell ourselves we did the best that we could do. If we didn't act the way we should have or could have, it's okay. It's okay. Instead, let's focus on what we learned from the lesson. Then let it go, because holding on to it is only dragging us down. And it's like a roadblock stopping us from experiencing that light that is within us. Another way is by being kind and respecting ourselves and nurturing ourselves with love by connecting to the source of divine love every day. Beginning each day affirming, I am love and I love me. I am divine love expressing in and through this physical body. Once we love ourselves, now we're in a better position to engage in healthy and meaningful relationships, whether they be with a partner, a family member, or friends. By first loving ourselves, we're also not depending on the outside world to complete us. And we're not asking someone else to fill that void if there is one. You see, when we are whole and complete, all the love that we receive from others is just the icing on the cake. It complements what we already have and what we already are. Our scripture lesson teaches us that if we love one another, God abides in us and God's love is perfected in us. The more love we share, the more love we receive. And I am not only speaking of romantic love, I am speaking of the love for our brothers and sisters, the love for humanity. The world is in such great need right now, and it sure could benefit from the energy and the vibrations of love that we can send. We also want to be mindful of what we take into our auric field. There are crazy things going on in the world right now. We are bombarded day in and day out with stories on the news about increased crime, mass shootings, and false propaganda. Gosh, last Sunday I was watching a story on the news, and people have gone so far. They've created this artificial intelligence where they take somebody who's a well-known figure and they impose very negative words. And they were saying what a grave danger this can be to society. And somewhere out in the world, there are folks who sit in a room all day with laptops, just waiting and trying to defraud anybody that they possibly can. They will take the last dollar from an 85-year-old senior citizen if they can. So what do we do about this? Well, we can neutralize this energy. And we also want to be mindful not to get caught up in it. The world needs light workers like us to shine and radiate divine love. And the key is to consciously not take into this energy, not taking this energy into us, and remaining centered in that light of God within us. To retreat to that inner self, to retreat to that cocoon of divine love, immersing ourselves in this light and radiating it out into the world. So we're not taking what's in the world into us, but rather we're sending out the energy that we want to send, sending the energy of love. And we may not see the effects, but trust me, the energy that we are sending has an impact on the world. I came across a story last week that I wanted to share with you about a 10-year-old girl whose name was Samantha Smith. I'd never heard of her. And in 1982, Samantha wrote a letter to the newly appointed General Secretary of the Soviet Union during the Cold War, congratulating him on his new job. She said, "I have been worrying about Russia and the United States getting into a nuclear war. Are you going to vote to have a war or not? If you aren't, please tell me how you're going to help to not have a war." And she also asked, "Why do you want to conquer the world, or at least our country? God made the world for us to share and to take care of it. God made the world for us to share and to take care of it, not to fight over or have one group of people own it all. Please, let's do what he wanted and have everybody be happy too. Please write back." He personally responded to her letter, and he said his country had declared that it would not use nuclear weapons first against another country. "Yes, Samantha, we in the Soviet Union are trying to do everything so there will not be war on Earth." And he ended his letter with an invitation for her to visit the Soviet Union, which she did so in 1983, which was not something that was done often back in the 1980s. This little 10-year-old girl may have changed the course of history with her letter. One person can make a difference. Think about it. She said God made the world for us to share and take care of it. If a 10-year-old girl can be an ambassador for peace and make a difference with one letter, so can we. Love can move mountains, and love can illuminate the darkest corners of the world. The vibration of love is powerful. Dr. Emoto from Japan claimed human consciousness could affect the molecular structure of water. So he conducted several studies on the effects of positive and negative thoughts and words on water. His water crystal experiments consisted of exposing water in glasses to various words, pictures, or music, then freezing it and examining the ice crystals. Those exposed to positive and uplifting words and vibrations were beautiful. When the water was exposed to the word love, the crystals that formed were spectacular. When the water was exposed to the word war, I hate you, the crystals appeared as disturbing. If this is how water reacts to these words and vibrations, just imagine what we are doing to ourselves and the world when we release this energy. And after my sermon, I'm going to show you a few examples of his crystals. This past week, Burt Bacharach made his transition into spirit. One of his well-known songs is, "What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of." Our one true love is the love of God that is within us. We want to be mindful to connect to the source of God and replenish our spirit with divine love. As this light grows within us, it will radiate from us to all areas of our life. And this light will be spread through our thoughts, our words, and our actions. The world is in great need of our love. And love is the greatest gift we have to give to ourselves and to humanity. My beloved, let us love one another, for love is from God. Happy Valentine's Day. Namaste.